Dear friends in the Lord, today is the Solemnity of Mary, the Mother of God, and I invite you all to reflect with me on the necessity of a solemn journey with Mary at the beginning of the year. On this New Year's Day, we celebrate not only the beginning of a new calendar year that is very often associated with new beginnings, but also we join the rest of the world to mark the World Day of Peace. In the Church, the aforementioned are deemed important, but at the same time, the solemnity of today's liturgy derives its primary source and strength from the fact that it celebrates Mary, the Mother of God. In a way, the reason for counting a day like this as a solemn day in the Church's liturgical calendar is no more than the fact of Mary's privileged choice by God to become the mother of His only Son, Jesus Christ. A choice which naturally translates to the understanding of Mary as God Bearer. Mary being chosen by God the Father to bring Jesus into this world, and her total willingness to do so is a great cause for celebration, primarily because her choice is a total divine act. And again, her choice and her fiat to the divine will became the starting point of a new beginning for the whole of humanity. The very heart of today's celebration comes from the fact that Mary, through the birth of Christ, becomes the finest and the purest expression of the unity of the divinity and humanity of Christ. In essence, recognizing Mary as the Mother of God means agreeing that in the womb of the Virgin Mary, the divine united itself so really and truly to man that no threshold of the human nature is able to hinder it. Today, and by this celebration, the Church recognizes and celebrates this extraordinary figure who became not just the meeting point between divinity and humanity in her womb, but also the one person by whose years God obtains a dwelling place in the world. There is in the Lord, if an essential part of the dynamics of human life is that we become better whenever we emulate higher values and engage those who champion them. It then becomes a near imperative on all who desire to become true children of God to aim at looking steadily at her who is full of grace and favored by the Most High God. To celebrate this solemn feast day at the beginning of the new year aims in part to lead us to an awareness of God's mighty acts in and through the life of Mary, who proclaimed God's greatness in the Magnificat. The Almighty has done great things for me, and holy is His name. To identify the place of the Almighty after the example of the Blessed Mother of God is to create a path that transforms our lives into an endless act of thanksgiving and praise of God. Dearest brothers and sisters, it is natural to say that with Mary by our side, the new year will not just be a time for the entertainment of mere optimism, but a time that leads us to a higher vision of the things that are and of the things to come. The solemn celebration of the Holy Mother of God provides for everyone and all the opportunity to walk side by side with her whom the Father chose, and He kept to the promise of a new beginning in the incarnation of His only Son, Jesus Christ. Therefore, to journey with Mary this new year, we must consider these few facts. Mary remains the model of discipleship. An understanding that necessitates a journey with Mary in the new year rests on her role as the model of discipleship. Mary's total fear to God at the Annunciation by saying yes to God in the face of the Archangel Gabriel. I am the handmaid of the Lord, let it be done to me, means that she is the model of discipleship. Since all aim at their best through the various resolutions and targets at the beginning of every new year, the best way to become the truest person, the being, and the disciple that God has created in each one of us, is to look steadily at her, whom the church recognizes as the model of discipleship. The discipleship of Mary, who sees herself as the handmaid of the Lord, is expounded by the teaching of the church's father, who clearly stated that Mary conceived Christ in her heart first, before she conceived him in her womb. This is undeniably the very reason why in Mary's life we see the deepest human expression of the kenosis of faith. The second factor that necessitated this journey with Mary is giving her yes to God. In the yes of Mary, we identify a pure act of unshakable trust in God that began from the moment of the Annunciation to the very last moment of her earthly life. Today's gospel reading is affirmative of her total faith all through her lifetime on earth, when it highlights that Mary treasured all these things in her heart. And I want to emphasize that she did not treasure just one thing, but she treasured everything. Our own Mariologist and Maryville scholar, Father Martin Onoha, accentuates that Mary's being and the trajectories of her life are shaped by the fact of her absolute faith and trust in God. In his words, her life represents a singular audience, and this attention is paid only to God, the Almighty. And the third point that necessitates journeying with Mary at the beginning of New Year is because of the care and trust which Mary was given at the birth of Christ. If God the Father was pleased to identify Mary as the worthiest vessel for the incarnation of his only Son and entrusted her with the care and custody of his only Son, then it is only logical and necessary that we follow the divine example and entrust ourselves to the motherly care of Mary. No wonder ardent devotees like Saint Louis Maria de Montfort, Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, Saint Francis de Sales, all opine for forms of consecration of our lives to Jesus through Mary our Mother. In conclusion, dear friends in the Lord, to make the best of the new year and at the same time aim to achieve a peaceful world, a total recourse to the motherly embrace of Mary our Mother would be of greatest necessity, since there cannot be a new beginning better than the ones associated with Mary's place in the economy of our salvation. For in Mary, God's faithfulness is echoed and magnified to the highest. In a time when the whole world appears to lose focus and direction, I invite all to hastily fly to the assured patronage of the Holy Mother of God. I call on all families, all individuals, societies, in the church and outside the church, if possible, to reconsider their values at the beginning of the year and embrace once again an ardent devotion to the Holy Mother of God. Let our rosary be our daily companion. Let prayers to Mary accompany us in and out of our family houses, in the church, outside the church, wherever we find ourselves. And she will continue to intercede for us now and until the hour of our death. Amen.